And we're live. UConn 72, DePaul 61. Whew. That was a little stressful. I won't lie to you. I think my biggest issue from this day was just wanted to get a win, guys. Like, that's the bottom line. And I kind of resigned myself to be a little bit calm in this game. Usually kind of a psycho during the games, but we're gonna talk about all of that and everything that's going on with this game, this season so far. We're gonna do that with Dan, Andrew, and hopefully a whole host of others that want to jump in the chat. So you're locked on.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for being Locked On UConn, your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Just want to take a quick moment to say how thankful we are for all of you, especially those in the live chat right now and those who are going to jump on the show. Appreciate Dan Mian of Exit 68, who will join us here in a minute. Andrew Arndt, who is a podcast host from How About Them Huskies. I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm wrong, he'll correct me when he jumps back on. And also, I guarantee you the folks at Husky Ticket Project who I sent to the game tonight weren't booing the Huskies tonight. I can guarantee you that because they were thankful that they got tickets to this game. Something that, we all should be when we're going to see this team, because I'm just going to do one quick rant. I promise I'm not going to yell at anybody. I honestly feel like you should fan how you want to fan. But when you have a show, when you have a platform, typically you have an opinion on something. At least I know I do. And I had a really strong reaction, and I had a ton of people from text message to DM, not the people who were disagreeing with me, in agreement with me. Does that mean I'm right? No. It just means that I'm just being honest. Like, I'm being honest about how I feel. Like, if this team was marred in, like if we were Indiana, I would imagine if you're in the Indiana Hoosiers, or if you're in Bloomington, even though they've won a bunch of national championships, they could probably boo them when they're playing horribly and losing to a team that's inferior. But not UConn. We're better than that, guys. Let's not do that, okay? That's all I'm saying. And honestly, typically I hate when people say that you're better than that, because it sounds condescending. So I'm sorry if I sound that way. But I would tell you that we're better than that. We just are. This team has earned our respect. I texted with Mal, who is, one of the road warriors with Little Red and Basil and all those guys, and I asked her this question. So correct me if I'm wrong. If you saw this at the game and Mal missed it, you can correct me. You can come on the show. You can tell me I'm full of. I'm not trying not to swear tonight. If I'm full of crap, you can tell me. Dan Hurley didn't do this once to the crowd, not one time, and I don't think it had anything to do with how pissed off he was at his team. I think he was mad at you. I think he was mad at you for booing a team that won back-to-back national champions. And let me just say this, and then Dan is going to come in here, Andrew's going to come in. This team, yeah, sure, did only Samson, Alex, Solo, to a certain extent, have a big part in that team? Yes, but Jaylin Stewart had big moments. Jay Ross was on that team. Singari, Andrew Hurley, the entire coaching staff, the entire GA staff. Those are champions that you're booing. And I hope Dan says something in the press conference just to make you guys look silly. I didn't hear any booing when we went on a 14-0 run. All right, that's enough of me. Let's go. Let's bring these guys in. All right. Hello and hello. Dan Meehan, owner and founder of Exit 68. Andrew Arndt. How about them Huskies? I'm saying that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Boys, Dan, you go first. What'd you think? Hold on. You're muted. Son of a bee. Start over. Go.
Uninspiring first half. They end up rallying to get the win. UConn does not cover the 13 or 14.5 spread tonight, but comes close. They moved to 9-12, I believe, against the spread on the season. So if you're a betting man tonight, I'm sorry. I think they came up short by a bucket. But
if you're a sharp better, you bet against UConn, because that's been the trend.
That has not been the case the last few years, but this year it seems to be. I thought that despite, uninspired first half. The crowd, we hear the boo birds come out a little bit. I thought the crowd was awesome to start the game. So credit to the people that came out tonight. It looked pretty full on TV. I didn't make it to the game tonight, but I thought Tarris played well in the first 5 minutes or so of the game. Sampson ends up being kind of a non-factor tonight as as Tarris kind of comes in late and just exacts his physicality on a lesser DePaul team. And I thought was a story tonight for UConn. Caravan ice cold from the field, but I thought he took good shots all night. He played well elsewhere, filled it up, assists and rebounds elsewhere. He played every minute of this game, which I thought was very interesting. I don't know if that's a punishment thing from Hurley for not shooting well or just wanted to, I don't know. Or maybe I think Caravan was just probably frustrated his shot wasn't going down and just probably looked at Hurley and said, "You're not taking me out of this game." They were down, and DePaul, up until UConn goes on the kill shot, and ultimately a 14-0 run, like halfway through the second half, like it was a close game. DePaul was just playing better than UConn up until that point, and so Caravan probably just had to play out of necessity, and then just wanted to stay out there. But he goes, I think 1 of 11,
1 of 14,
1 of 14. Rough night. But elsewhere, Jaylin Stewart played great. Solo had a good game. I think 16 points on 50% from the floor. So they get the win. That's all that mattered. Liam still out in this one. He was animated on the bench after a few blown defensive plays by UConn. But good to see his spark is still there. Hopefully we get him back after tonight's game against DePaul. But we'll see. But despite the boo birds coming out, people, it didn't look great in the first half. They got the win. That's all that matters. We march on.
Andrew, before you talk, I'm curious what the talking point is on this, and then you can give me your overall thoughts. I really don't want to spend all time here talking about the booing and all that stuff. And I'm really not going to do that. But this is a comment that just came in. They're pros. Fans pay big bucks, and they have a right to boo. Can't charge hundreds per seat and demand donations, then expect Pom Poms when they crap the bed. They got tough and won. My comment to that is, before you go, Andrew, and then you just go crazy if you want to, is yes, they are semi-professional because they do get NIL money. But let me ask you this question to that same person, Emal or whatever your name is. Do you think that this team has I don't know, maybe provided enough sweat equity over the last couple of years that you could probably just shut your effing mouth for a little while so that you can maybe cheer them on and have some positive energy versus the negative, I'm from New England, everything sucks energy that we see from the crowds from time to time? Guys, it's old. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm an old school Yankee fan. I got my Don Mattingly jersey over there. I got Yankee stuff over here. When Yankee fans boo, it's the dumbest thing in the world. It's 2025. These guys want positivity. It's not 1978 anymore. If you want your old school stuff, that's fine. But when was the last time the Yankees won a title? Dan, you probably know this. You're a Red Sox fan.
2009. 2009,
right? It's been quite a while. So if you want to be that fan base that says championship or bust, rah, 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 then you're kind of a moron. I'm just being honest. And that's my take. Andrew, go crazy.
It's ridiculous. I mean, I don't want to start negative because I hate starting negative in a win, but even to me, it wasn't necessarily obviously it was the fact that they were booing, but it was the time. They were booing with a half an hour of gameplay left. I mean, a half an hour of game clock left and you're boo. I mean, why? That's what I really want to know is what made you hate this team so much where you're booing them 10 minutes into the game? I mean, I don't know if these people have watched every game, but almost every game this year has been a pretty slow start in Big East play, at least. We started off slow, and we found ways to come back because we are a good team. And the people that are saying that they boo to, try to hype them up, that's not how you make a team win. And I have been to so many games. I'm a diehard Boston fan. Obviously, there hasn't been much to boo there. But even in the old UConn days, I mean, I witnessed us within 2 to UNH and a half, and I didn't utter a boo out of my mouth. I mean, the Providence game at Gamble, nobody was booing. The place was up the entire time, even when we were down 14. It's disheartening to hear, and it's probably for the players too, especially for people like Alex Caravan, Samson Johnson, and Hassan Diarra, who have 2 rings. They all decided to come back, even when they didn't have to. All three of them could have left if they wanted. And to come pursue this third ring, and they're hearing boos at home, that would honestly make me not want to play if that was me. But I don't want to get off this booing stuff. End of story. If you're booing, you're an idiot and you're not a real fan. That's the end of that story. I want to talk about Solo Ball.
Talk to me about Solo.
Is Mr. Clutch. I mean, just watching him play on offense, I don't even want to talk about his defense because that's not what matters to me right now. That stretch where he got that and one bucket, drilled the free throw, came right back down after the chase down block on a wide open dunk, I will say.
That was his best sequence of the year.
6'3" guard. Getting back after that, hitting the and 1-3. And then, he missed the 3 after that. But why not feed him? He's hot. He's clutch. He is the clutch gene. Obviously, it's been Alex Caravan. It's been Jordan Hawkins. It's been Newton. And it's now Solo Ball. And I'm
gonna challenge you on this one. First off, before I lose my crap again, I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm not going to lose it. Hey, Matt, do me a favor. Put your Pom Poms, shove them all the way up where the sun don't shine, because I'm going to tell you right now, this UConn team has 2 guys injured in Liam and Ahmad. They have guys who are playing hurt. I had multiple people go to me, is Hassan Diarra limping? And I said, yeah, he's playing hurt. By the way, he played 28 minutes tonight. Is Alex Caravan still nursing a sprained ankle? Probably. He looks slow as hell tonight. I don't think Alex Caravan is that bad of a player. He just had a tough night. Got good shots, but he had no lift. So if you don't see that as a person and as a person that evaluates the game, it's not pom-poms. It's just honest evaluation. So again, take those pom-poms, shove them up where the sun don't shine, and have a great rest of your night.
Speaking of pom poms, our Ken Pom defensive rating, went up tonight to 125.
Let's go, baby!
Silver lining.
And
anyway,
like I said, it's not really completely the fact that they're if we lose by 20 and you want to boom to the final buzzer, if that makes you happier, that makes you forget about it, fine. But you're booing a team in the first half. What do you expect them to do? Hit every single shot right out of the gate? I mean, teams get hot, teams get cold. I don't understand. I really don't understand. I don't think there's any more to say.
Let's move on from the booing because it is what it is. All right. So Tarris Reed tonight. We're gonna get Bernie in here in a second, but I want to go back to Dan. Dan, we've talked about this. I've wanted Tarris to be the slump buster that Adama Snogo was when the shot wasn't falling. And tonight he was that. They found him. He manhandled this DePaul team that was undersized. I don't feel like they've used him enough in these types of situations this year. They've almost I almost feel like I'm going to use a Gino quote, and I think Andrew will know where I'm going with this. The women have played a lot better lately, or because Gino said we took away the full menu and gave them a bar menu of choices. And tonight was like the bar menu. So instead of going through 47 different combination sets that this team clearly is not capable of, with no Liam, with no Ahmad, with guys playing hurt, it was find the matchup with the Duncans with Tarris to get mismatches, and of course they ran their stuff, but still, that's what I saw tonight. Dan?
Yeah, he absolutely filled it up. I think Hurley saw in the first half. Sampson only played 16 minutes tonight. He once again doesn't miss from the field, but he had 4 points, 3 boards, a block. He usually plays more minutes, by a few, than Tarris, but I think from the get-go tonight, Hurley saw that Tarris just had a physicality and a size advantage against a smaller DePaul squad. Tarris just kind of took over physically in the second half. He goes 6 of 8 for the game. Probably should have had 19 points. He missed all 3 of his free throws in the first half, but 6 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. So he's a defensive nightmare too. I thought, despite Alex being cold, this was UConn's. I'm just looking at the box scores now on Sports Reference. They shot 44% tonight. That's their worst performance shooting of the season since Dayton, since we were in Maui. So they don't cover the spread. I know it's DePaul, but they win by 11 despite a god-awful first half and one of their worst shooting performances of the season. So it's not all bad.
Andrew, Tarris?
I want to start, first of all, before I get into Tarris, just one quick thing. The thing that people need to get through their thick skulls about this year's team is it's not last year's team. Every team is different. Last year, you knew what you were getting every single time out of everybody. And it's one of the best teams. I know I'm much younger, but it's one of the best teams I've ever watched. And I can pretty confidently say it's probably one of the best teams you guys have ever watched, too.
Hey, watch yourself. You said I'm much younger.
I know.
That was like what, do you remember the Kevin Hart moment when he was talking to what's his face from what's his name from the Marvel movies? Another actor, and he went, "How old are you?" He went, 56. He went, "Damn." That's what that made me feel like, just so you know. I'm so much younger. Anyway, continue.
This is just another who's hot, who's cold. I mean, Jaylin Stewart, Xavier was completely cold, played 12 minutes, played a ton tonight, poured in 15 points. Tarris Reed didn't play a ton in some games. Samson got the edge. Reed had the edge tonight. And I feel like that's what it's going to be for the rest of the season. This isn't a team where you're going to send out the same starting five. You guys are going to play these minutes. These guys are going to play these minutes. We're going to go on and win every single game. That's not how this team is. It's going to be matchup based. Who has it, who doesn't. And I feel like that's a huge part of why these games have kind of been like that, because you have no idea what you're going to get out of any of these guys any given night. And Tarris tonight was unstoppable. I mean, I was yelling for him to get the ball in the post every time because he just outstrengthed, outmatched everything against that DePaul center. I even forget his name, but he just looked unstoppable tonight. The free throws obviously sucks, but he just in general looked so strong and dominant in that post. He looked like nobody was going to stop him.
Yeah, I think what we saw tonight was what people were been clamoring for with Tarris, playing a bunch more, but it's also situational. And I think, that's the reason why Tarris was who he was tonight. Bernie, let's bring you in here. And by the way, this is the order. We got Bernie, and this is all first come, first serve. Bernie, Steve, Joey, Matt, and then Joey. Joey, I'll try to get you in here. I know you're my boy. I know we're he's jumping around over there. Let's get Bernie in here.
Matt is one of my co-hosts on
All right.
Huskies, so he's gonna have some good takes.
Bernie.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
Good, man. What you got for us?
Okay. I was just thinking about this game in the first and second half, and it was like, you go to a movie, and it's a long movie, and you start watching the first half of the movie, and it's terrible. It sucks, and you hate it, and you want to walk out. And you don't want to see what the rest of the movie's like, and you're just like, oh, why did I pay all this money for this movie? But then you watch the second half of the movie, and you're like, wait a minute, this is a pretty damn good movie. Why? I mean, I'm glad I stayed around. I mean, that 19-point turnaround from the first to the second half by this team, the way, you know what? If this was like any other team, not UConn, they would have just let DePaul run them over. This is a team that does not allow any other team to blow them out. This is a team that, I mean, let's be real here. Everybody on the chat who's moaning and groaning should realize this is a team that's going to fight and going to come back. This is a team that's not going to lay down and die. All right? Now, Caravan was 1 of 14 from the field. He didn't have a great night, but he had 8 assists. 8 assists. 8 of the 18 assists were Caravan. Okay, he was passing the ball. He was giving to players who can make shots. He just was not doing anything, and people constantly complaining about Caravan. Caravan was doing a lot more stuff than just making shots. Yeah, he had a cold night, but then again, he did more than just stand around and let people go by him. But this team, you know what? This team has heart, and I think the booing and everything else like that was not necessary. It really wasn't, because let's be real here. They were struggling. They were 0 for 11 before they made their first 3-point shot. 0 for 11. So, I mean, the ball was going off the rim. The ball was going around the rim and coming out. They were not making, the 3-pointer wasn't going down. So if they're 0 for 11, there's not much you can do about that at all.
Bernie,
Yes.
let me ask you a question because I got a bunch of people on, so I want to get to everybody in the chat,
Sure.
or everyone on that's waiting on the stream. What was the biggest takeaway you took from this game? Was it Tarris? Was it Solo? Was it Aiden's minutes? Like, what did you in the grand? Listen, I don't think anyone's super happy. We're happy we won. I don't think anyone's like, they're talking about pom poms. We're waving pom poms. No, this game sucked, guys. Like I was frustrated throughout the entire part of it. But the idea that we shouldn't be happy with a win, especially with what this year has been, I mean, I'm going to celebrate a win every day. Bernie, what did you celebrate tonight?
What I celebrated? Well, I celebrated by the fact that this team came back and they showed heart. That is something that I think this year in college basketball and some of the teams I've seen don't have, but this team has it. I mean, this team is not going to get blown out. And like you said in the last podcast I was on, it's like if they play any other team besides the Big East team, they are dangerous, whether it be a 5 seed, a 6 seed, a 7 seed, an 8 seed, or 9 seed. They are a dangerous team, and they can beat anyone on a neutral court at any time because that's how good they are. And tonight proved it because, like I said, they were down 14 points, and they came back. They came back. This reminded me of last year's team or the 2023 team. Those teams, when they were down, they came back. They willed themselves. They willed themselves on that team. They did everything to get that win. Yeah, it's DePaul. Yeah, okay, I understand that. But a win is a win, and we need to take that win. That's an important confidence builder for them because, again, now here comes Marquette. Now here comes St. John's. Now comes the back end of the schedule where it's going to get much tougher. And a win like tonight will help them big time. So I'm happy about the win. Yeah, it's whatever. It's DePaul and stuff like that, but it's a win. And that is what's more important.
All right, Bernie.
Gentlemen, okay, one more thing. Mark, once again, you do a damn good job, and thank God you're not screaming and hollering. Dan, Meehan, and Andrew, you're awesome, okay? And you guys have a great night, and then see you Saturday for Marquette.
Yes, sir. Let's get Steven here. What you got for me, brother?
Hello?
What's up, dude? What you got?
And I think that this may have been Ball's best game defensively all year. In his block in the second half, I believe, started that spurt that they had to win the game.
I agree, man. I think Solo played really well. I think Andrew pointed that out. I think his defense, you can just tell there was a little difference with Solo. So I forget who it was. Might have been Cowboy. I'm gonna call him out because I know he's in here a little bit. So I'll talk a little crap to him. He's just like, yeah, I just don't know. Maybe he doesn't, this, that, and the other thing. And I was just like, Solo doesn't just take. Dan has said it. Like, does Dan really strike you as a guy who would allow a player to just not care about defense, kind of play through all of it? The guy cares, and Solo is working through it. I think Solo is like it's a analysis or paralysis by analysis type thing. Where he's trying to figure something out so quick. But go ahead, Steve. Last point.
I'm sorry. You know what the biggest issue with Ball, I think, is he doesn't let his talent take over. If he just stops thinking and lets his talent take over, he could be the best player on the floor.
I agree, brother. All right, dude. Listen, have a good rest of your night. We appreciate you, and always keep coming back. We really appreciate you, Steve. Let's get Matt in here, and then let's go to Joey.
What's going on, guys?
How we doing, brother?
Matt? What's going on? I kind of wanted to bring up Liam's absence a little bit.
Yeah,
to this.
Please.
I know it's fairly obvious now, but I think it's affecting Alex Caravan more than anything. I did a little bit of the math here. After the Liam injury, he is 10 of 37 from threes, 27%. Before that, 32 of 76. He was 42%. I think teams are really kind of keying in here on AK. It's kind of difficult to kind of, pinpoint how to get him open, how to get this guy better looks. I feel like we just need a game of that. I feel like tonight could have been it. Obviously, wasn't his night. Did other things well, but I think Liam's absence is kind of taking a toll on him. I think once Liam comes back, I think that will kind of open up AK's game a little bit more to be that scorer. And I think honestly, now that he hasn't had those scoring games, he's been able to get these assists. He's been able to make these hustle plays. He might even be more well-rounded once Liam's back because he's really had a lot on his shoulders over the past few weeks.
Here's
crazy. Go ahead,
Caravan's. I just want to give Caravan's minute totals his last few games. 40 played every single minute tonight. 40 minutes, 31, 40, 39, 40, 36, 39, 38, 35, 43. Guy is gassed.
Insane.
That's a lot of minutes for a college basketball player. A lot. I know the games sometimes are 3-4 days in between. Doesn't matter. He's doing a lot out there.
Do you know what the trolls are going to say, Dan? Everyone's so soft. They're just playing basketball. And
That's
meanwhile,
fine.
they sprain it. They tear a hamstring walking to the freaking refrigerator to get a ham sandwich. All right, so like, give me a break, dude.
It's
like,
rare for a college player. There's guys that play 40 minutes a game in a 48-minute NBA game, but in the college game, it's rare to play 35, 37 minutes like every night. It's not. This is 3/4 of the season. This guy's playing more than 35 to 40 minutes a game here. So, I mean, like you said, Matt, once Liam's back, it's definitely opening up the spacing on the floor for everybody on this team, and they can just kind of revert back to their natural kind of roles on this team. Keep in mind, this roster is compiled and like put together in a certain way with Liam being on the floor in mind. Like they're not playing such different roles than they're kind of like planned to in the beginning of the season, but everyone's kind of just might be pressing a little bit, trying to do something a little bit more than, not that they're capable of, but just like something that they weren't told that they were going to be asked to do in the beginning of the season. So like you said, I think everything reverts back to default when Liam finally does come back, hopefully next game.
This is one of your big three, and I kind of wanted to bring up one more point here. I'm ready for Isaiah Abraham. I don't know about anybody else.
I was going to say the same damn thing. I'm ready for it. Why not?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen,
boys.
It's not gonna, but I'm ready for it. Jaden Ross
next season. You might see a transfer or two this offseason. Time will tell, but I think next year is his year. It's just he hasn't played enough this season to get featured going forward as these games get more important.
I'm definitely ready for it as an experiment. A few minutes, toss him up for those Noel minutes when Liam comes back, and just see how it goes.
Noted. I'm right there with you.
I'll pass a note to Dan. Hey, Joey, I'm going to do one quick little – I'm doing a FanDuel ad, and then I'm going to have you come on. Matt, stay on, and you guys can – 5 of us can just hang out for the rest of the way. So unless anyone else wants to jump on. So real quick, we're going to do a quick FanDuel ad coming up after the break. Super Bowl 59 is here. One game, 2 teams, endless possibilities. There's no better way to make every play more exciting than with FanDuel Sportsbook. Whether it's predicting the first touchdown, calling the MVP, you can even do the coin toss. FanDuel makes it easy to get in the action. You could even do the length of the national anthem, over under. From the thrill of kickoff to the final whistle, live betting is also a big feature that I personally like to do. It's right in the app. It's super easy to navigate. Plus, knowing that you can place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets for the Super Bowl, that's the icing on the cake. Download the app, head to FanDuel.com to get started. Just bet $5, and if you win, you'll score $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Bet with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, we're back. Did you guys catch that? You can do the coin toss. I thought that was one of my finer moments reading ads. Instead of a coin toss. I don't even know what that means, but I did correct myself, and that's one of those things. When you record an ad, I didn't want to go back and do it because I was on a time budget, so apologize to FanDuel there. I usually get that one right. But anyway, I also feel like the way they write these ads is just atrocious. Like I typically rewrite it. So let's get Joey in here and talk about the rest of the game. Oh, we got a five.
Nice jersey.
It's like Hollywood Squares around here. Let's roll.
It's the custom one. Joey Bailbon's one.
Oh, dude.
I got my Joey Calcaterra jersey on tonight. I had to throw it on at halftime after that miserable shooting performance in the first half.
I say this again. It's weird, though. Every time we open with that rim, we always shoot bad from that side. I don't know why. It just pisses me off. We never shoot well from that side. And also, we're a second half team, so I get
The
it. But
XL
still.
Center, the gravity in the XL Center, the place is probably settling into the earth a little bit in Hartford.
Well, they are digging. They're trying to make it nicer, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I think they should just implode it and then rebuild if they want to keep playing in Hartford. I mean, that would be my suggestion.
Just build it right over it. Right over it.
Were you were there or no?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay.
I mean,
talk to
they
me.
just shot. They just couldn't make a shot. The shots weren't falling, and you saw the energy. The other team, DePaul, they wanted it in the first half. They came out hungry and they were playing aggressive, and they wanted it, and they made shots, and we made bad plays, and they capitalized it. Shout out to DePaul in the first half. Great first half, but also too, we came back around like the last couple minutes and made it a 7-point game, which I was okay with because UConn, we're a second half team. And it took us till the 8-minute mark of the second half to really kind of like sit up like that little brother, like, all right, let's play serious now and lock it in. I think it was. It's even crazier. It took Diarra to like the 6-minute mark to get his first shot. So
He's playing hurt. He's playing hurt.
Even
AK is hurt. And you
Yeah.
can tell he's gassed too because you see the way he's moving. His ankles still bother him. He's playing gas too. They all are. It's that time of the year where you're banged up, you're tired, and you're playing through. This is Big East basketball. This is the time of year where we got to lock in. We got to figure it out. But it's
Something to say about Alex Caravan too. Like
Mhm.
people can be, you can pick nits on this kid and say he's not shooting well. He's struggling on defense. He's the captain of his team. He wears that burden on his sleeve.
Yep.
He's vocal about it.
Yep.
Played 40 minutes out of 40 minutes tonight, shooting 1 of 14. Probably his worst shooting performance has to be of his UConn career. But stays out there despite the home crowd booing the team to show his team and galvanize these guys, the younger dudes. He's the veteran on the floor. That this is his team, and they're not going to back down from a lesser opponent. But I just thought that was a good captain moment. Like,
for sure.
Show galvanize your own guys. Everyone on the team knows he's probably not 100%. Knows DR is not 100%. They needed him out there despite some Hurley quotes from his post-game presser coming through now from Sam Calhoun. He said Alex did plenty else on the court. I know he had a miserable shooting night, but credit to the captain for just staying out there despite not being on his shit tonight.
Oh, 100%.
Before I want to get this in because Andrew and Matthew, how about them Huskies? Tell people where they can find your podcast, guys.
We are on YouTube and Spotify. We started about 3 years ago. Funny enough, we started the first year we won the national championship. So we get a little Fairweather fan jokes there. But yeah, I mean, we go as much as we possibly can. We recap every game, preview every game for you. YouTube and Spotify, that's where you can find us. And I also wanted to add a point in there before it got lost in my mind about Caravan, Sampson, and Diarra. And I said this, I think, to my dad as I was watching. But what enough people don't realize is that this team, those 3 guys, have never been in this position that they're in before. Caravan's never been the guy. He always had people next to him, both of his first years. Sampson was in the starting lineup for 1 year or 1 game, got hurt for the rest of that season pretty much, and was the backup last year. And Diarra never started a single game before this. So what people need to realize before they hack on these guys for not playing good or Caravan for shooting so poorly, he has never been in this role before. And believe it or not, college athletes are not perfect, people. It's hard to adjust to that role. It's very hard to adjust to anything in terms of any change in college athletics in general. But I feel like people need to understand that those 3, the 3 that are going for the three-peat, have never been in the position that they're in right now.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. And you made the point about Caravan playing all these minutes. I just want to take a look at the other guys playing all these minutes because this definitely was not going to work right away. Solo ball up at 30 minutes a game, much higher than last year. You got DR at 27. You got Sampson at 20, Stewart at 17. You got Ross at 15. These are all guys looking to come in and slide into these roles. It's not going to be perfect right away. I think those 3 games that we won in non-con, Texas, Gonzaga, I think those were a little bit of, early kind of season, pick off these teams, get these good wins. Once Big East play comes around, it's different. We've seen this years before. That year, 2 years ago, that national championship year, you lose 3 out of 5 around December. And I mean, you're falling apart. It's the end of the world. You go on to win the national championship, not just for no reason, because these guys were able to come in and kind of put it all together.
If you don't know who that is,
Yeah,
that's Big Larry Forearm from Twitter fame, aka Matthew Sullivan, my boy. Big Larry is hysterical. Booed myself in the shower as I normally do. I'll take credit.
I don't want to think about Big Larry in the shower, but the image of him booing himself in his own shower is hysterical.
I don't mind the silhouette view that you see in PG-13 movies of Big Larry in the shower where he's screaming at himself. That would be pretty fun. But definitely
just a note. I'm just looking at the game logs from this entire season, not including Maui because they lost by 15 to Dayton, but their 3 losses in conference have been by 11 points total.
Totally.
I know it's not how people want it to look, but sans their best player, arguably, Liam McNeely, they've lost 3 games by 11 total points. So I think he'll be back for Marquette, TBD. But if he is, a little, some sunshine is on the horizon.
Hey, Joey, all good points, Dan. I'm not, I don't want anybody to ever have to use your services, but I'm going to keep doing this every time you come on the show. Tell people where they can find your services, Joey Bail Bonds, if they have a problem, if they had a little too much to drink tonight and maybe they do something crazy after the game, or if they're booing and someone punches them in the face and they get into a fight at the game, any of that stuff. I'm curious, where can they find your services?
You can find me on Google, Instagram, Facebook, Joey Bail Bonds. Call me if you need me.
Love it. Joey Bail Bonds.
Joey BB.
Listen, we got one more guy I'm going to just keep you guys on and then have our buddy OK get in here, and then we'll probably close it down because we're about 37 minutes in. What you got for us, brother?
Hey, guys. I just want to say, I said it last time, that solo ball is really picking up here in the season. And at this point, he's now our second leading scorer in points per game. He's at 14.5. And I think we're primed that when Liam gets back, we're going to have 3 guys ready to rock and roll and take on all comers.
Don't let us get hot. Don't let us get hot. I'm warning you. The field of 64, don't let us get hot.
Everybody's doubting us.
It's coming.
Everybody's doubting us. It's the perfect time for us to get hot. Everybody's doubting us. There's not a single
media
person
too.
Who's not a UConn
What
fan.
was the game on today? It was on FS1. I just,
That's the wrong one. Keep going, Andrew. I'll get the right one.
There's not a non-UConn fan on this country that genuinely believes that we're going to win the national championship. There's not, and it's prevalent. I mean, it's all over every platform. Every single platform goes out of their way to post every single upset that we lose, and there's no believers now, and it's a perfect time to start believing. Honestly, it's a perfect time to get hot. Liam's on his way back, although the quotes I saw aren't looking too promising for Marquette.
People better get us now. That's all. You better get us now.
That's all I have to say. Because it's coming. 100%. You want to? Let's listen to that again, guys. It's like a 3-second clip. Let's do that again.
People better get us now. That's all. You better get us now.
And I will say this: it is coming because Liam is coming back. Get back into form. This game was wildly frustrating, but I have a feeling that if Liam plays a little bit against Marquette, even if that's an L, I think we beat St. John's with Liam back in the fold, and we get hot. No one wants to see us. Believe it or not, I had Dan Dockich of Outkick on today that'll come out tomorrow, and he said that. He was just like, I can tell you one thing as a veteran analyst, as a veteran guy of college basketball. He's like, the only team that the Dukes, the Auburns don't want to see come March is that UConn as a 6 or a 7 seed playing them as a 2 or a 1 in that second round or Sweet 16 game. And I don't think he's wrong. I just don't think that you can take away the championship heart. If UConn gets past that first weekend and they're in the regional semifinal against a Duke or an Iowa State, do you think they want to play UConn, or do you want to play Clemson? I'm sorry.
Who's the last 7, 8, 9, 10 seed that you could possibly want to play in a bracket? The guys that have proven to know how to navigate a 6-game tournament.
That's
away. away crowds, teams and a staff that knows how to prepare for a tournament game. Like, that is a different story than winning games in the regular season, whether it's in conference or out of conference. These games are every other couple days in neutral settings without your home crowd. Freshman team like Duke, like, that team's loaded. Don't get me wrong, but they're 18 and 19-year-olds predominantly on that roster. Michigan State, Tom Izzo, solid squads, haven't been able to navigate the tournament the last decade. Iowa State, Otzelberger, great coach. Like, I saw Lenardi's bracket that came out yesterday. Like, the East region is absolutely loaded. Some of those teams are going to knock each other off. Maybe UConn draws a 9 or 10 seed and gets relegated to the Western or Midwest, a different bracket, and avoids some of those teams. You never know. But I'm telling you, if this team gets back a guy who was number 14 in Bleacher Report's mock draft yesterday for the NBA, no one wants to play this team come March. I promise you.
All right, boys. Last word around the horn. Dan just had his. I'm gonna go Joey, and if you want to drop Joey, they'll have the boys take us home, and then I'll call it.
No problem. It's toughness. Just got to play tough. Got to play tough. Than the rest. Yeah.
Listen, man. I don't want to see you in a dark alley. I'm gonna tell you that. But
I'm sure. No.
But I'll try my best, man. I'll try to be tough. But I'll
Joey, where'd you get that hat?
I was gonna ask that question.
Where'd you get that hat?
Dude, I saw it. I got it at the game tonight.
Really? Where? Really? On the street? Street vendor?
No, I got it at the co-op at the Commerce right there. Yeah, right there, right at the XL Center, baby.
That's
I knew I should have went to tonight's game.
That place can stay open. It's cool. If they're gonna sell merch like that, that should stay open.
Oh, dude, they have all the final the national championship hats from the previous years, like new ones. Worth checking out. Trust me. Joey Bailbot's official.
Love it, dude. All right, brother. I'm gonna drop you and then talk to these boys, and we'll call it a night. See you soon. All right, Matt. You came in last, so you can have the last word, and then we'll go to Andrew, and then I'll close this out.
All righty. Never doubt Dan Hurley. That's kind of the one thing I've learned here over the past 6-7 years. I know that he's going to get the guys in the right place. The booing tonight is all extra stuff. It's stupid college kids getting booed at XL Center, and they would never boo at Campbell. I can't see that happening, but just trust Dan Hurley. He's going to get these guys in the right spot. He's going to get them ready like he's done every other time, and we'll be right back on track.
Matt, I'll say this. If we have to fight adversity and boos from our own crowd, they're definitely not going to be faced with they're definitely not going to be phased when we hear from the opposing crowd.
Oh, no. No way. Never are anyways.
Yeah.
Andrew?
Why not us? That's what I'm saying. We could play a game anytime, and we could, for Christ's sake, we could play a game on Pratt Street. We are going to win. Trust in the greatest staff in the country who brought all these great players here for a reason. And why not us? That's what I'm going to end with. Why not us?
You know what I love about both of you guys and Dan firing me up for the end of this show is that this team is coming off of back-to-back national championships, and we're going to have the attitude of like a plucky underdog going into the NCAA tournament, which is the funniest thing in the world. And I don't think you play with house money. I don't think that's a thing anymore. But it's like I said, like Dan said, don't let us get hot because we've done it before. And what did Matt say? Don't ever doubt Dan Hurley. Don't do it. Do it.
I dare you. I dare you to doubt this team. I dare you.
This has been another episode of Locked On UConn, Locked On Live. For Andrew Arndt, Matt Morabitelli, did I say it right? Dan Mian, and your host, Mark Zanetto, asking you to stay locked on, stay connected, and always keep those toughness meters rising. Boo if you want to. I don't care. I love you all, even if you're morons. Go Huskies.
Go Huskies.